Good morning everybody, welcome to Rhyme of the Times for the week ending 14th of September 2024. Paris Paralympics give cause to celebrate, and now we anticipate LA 28. Trump takes Harris's bait in the debate as he shows his innate trait of expressing hate. A report into the state of the NHS ain't great. The West still hesitate, deliberate and prevaricate as Ukraine waits and hopes it's not too late to learn its fate. Good news update from Kate. The Paris Paralympics ended on Sunday. Another great success, most observers would say. A rubbish end with the women's marathon though, and for Elena Congost a massive blow. The 36-year-old blind Spanish athlete, for an act of kindness, was labelled a cheat. A marathon's tough. She'd trained hard to compete. A PB gave her third place, an outstanding feat. But after a 3-hour slog in late summer heat, her guide was out on his feet and looking dead beat. But he was determined not to accept defeat. Elena just had to taste that feeling so sweet that comes when the 26 miles are complete. But Elena had helped her guide stay on his feet. Meters from the end she'd let go of the tether, held him up so that they could finish together. And that tiny bit of help when she touched his arm to stop him stumbling and coming to harm was deemed by the Jobsworths to have broken a rule. Intransigent officialdom can be so cruel. Rules are rules, common sense down the pan, and the bronze went to the 4th placed girl from Japan. Hey ho, we move on from this ruling quite dreadful to Britain's medal haul, which was quite a shedful. From the 6 medals on day 1 to 4 on the last, for Team GB it had been a 12-day blast. Many medals were expected, but there were a few nice shocks. Enough gold accumulated to fill Fort Knox. A British record 49 of their medals were gold. 19 golds over 9 games, Sarah's story now holds. Team GB's final medal haul was 124. Only the Chinese were able to amass more. Tuesday was the early release day for the prisons. A shortage of space had caused this decision. Nearly 2,000 released with little preparation, causing consternation in a concerned nation. And by the end of the week, perhaps no real shock to find one of the freed prisoners back in the dock. Keir Starmer insists there's no other answer, because the previous government were a bunch of chancers, handing over the prison keys while clearly knowing no more porridge could be served without overflowing. More trouble for the PM on Tuesday PM, as a Labour motion by many was condemned. But Labour's huge majority meant the motion wasn't stopped, and winter fuel payments for the elderly will be dropped. Now only those on pension credit will feel the leaven of the payout Labour brought in 1997. As Lammy and Starmer's plane on Thursday landed, they didn't want to leave Washington empty-handed. They were going to the States in a state of emergency. Ukraine's plight once again a matter of urgency. The Kursk incursion hasn't halted or been aborted, but Russia is now close to having it thwarted. Zelensky's pleas for more Western support is once more uppermost in NATO thoughts. While Ukraine needs Western weapons in large amounts, permission for how to use them also counts. There's no point in being given piles and piles of missiles like storm shadows that can fly miles if they can't use them deep inside Russian land to help give them the military upper hand. How can the agile underdog counter-attack when it has one hand tied behind its back? But Starmer and Lamy left the US having apparently made no significant progress. The narrative projected by the NHS is a tale of seemingly diminishing success. Every report that is published on the institution outlines more shortcomings than there are solutions, and the report on Lord Darcy's investigation, released on Tuesday to much anticipation, had many names in the frame for who's to blame for how our health service has become so lame. But it claims the current funding model should remain in order to maintain its fundamental aim. But big reforms are needed in order to save the ideal of free health care from cradle to grave. On Tuesday came the clash of the two big adversaries on the eve of the 9/11 anniversary. Before the July exit of Joe Biden, Trump's lead in the race for the White House had widened. But Joe saw the light in the end by opting to drop out, though he needed one hell of a prompting. And since then, Trump's had a new face to face, and on Tuesday in Philadelphia he went face to face, the new face being that of Kamala Harris, and her tactic was clearly to harass and embarrass. And for 90 minutes the theme of the debate was to see if Donald Trump could resist the bait, and most felt Kamala's attempts to be the tempter successfully raised Donald's short temper. In fact, he failed to temper his temper at all and resorted to playing the woman, not the ball. The fact checkers had a very tough evening, as Trump seemed to make things up to support his reasoning. And finally, a note of good news to convey. The Princess of Wales cancer has gone away. With cancer, of course, it's well understood we can never be sure it's gone for good. Maybe not out of the woods, but Kate at least could post a video showing the joys of motherhood, with family scenes from the beach, the fields and the woods.